So when I was 18, as I said before, between 17 and 18 was my crazy period. And so when I was 18, I had just turned 18 in February. And then in March, I discovered I was pregnant. How did I come to this realization? So one day I was out, I was having fun, and I would feel angry at people. I would feel like I'd meet some people who I don't like, and I'd be like, I'd want to puke, like I'd just feel nauseated and like, ugh. And so I was like, oh, this is not me. I really don't get to this point where I feel even like puking when I see someone I don't like. And so I was like, there's something wrong with my body. And then, of course, I missed my period, and I'm like, I think I'm pregnant. And so I went for a pregnancy test at the chemist. And when I took it, it didn't show anything. I bought 2 others, nothing. And so it seemed like I either didn't know how to use them or they were faulty. So I decided to go to a hospital. And I had to go to a very private hospital where no one would see me, because this was about the most embarrassing thing I had ever gone through. And when I went, I was very scared. I didn't know what would happen. I was very, very nervous, anxious. And as in, I was also angry at myself. I hated myself for putting myself in a situation I wasn't even ready for. And I went to the hospital and I had the test, and they told me that I was pregnant. They said the test was positive. And that shattered my whole world. Like, for all that time that the doctor was seated there telling me this news, I was shattered. I knew my life had come to an end. Like, there was no way anything could be worse than that at that moment. And so when I found out I was pregnant, I was like 18 and pregnant. I'm like, no, this doesn't work like this. I can't be pregnant. And for sure, when I look back, I had to think about what I had been doing. And even you as a girl, just realize that whatever you're doing out here, there's always consequences for your mistakes. And so at that point, I thought, what should I do? I was so scared. I was so alone. My mom is harsh. I can't just go and tell her, Mom, I'm pregnant. And so I went to her secretary. She was my friend, and I knew she wouldn't go and tell my mom. So I went and told her this news. Her reaction was so interesting because she was very happy. And I couldn't understand how she's happy, and this is such a scary thing. It's such an embarrassing thing, and it's not a good thing to be pregnant when you're 18. So I was so shattered, but she was so happy, and she told me, I'll even buy you fruits. And the next person I told was a friend at school at that time, because I was still in high school. I was finishing my O-levels, because I ended up doing homeschool because of my bad behavior in high school, as I had mentioned before. So I went and told her this story, and she was like, I know, Ivanna, you need to remove this pregnancy. So she gave me an idea. I drink lime juice, and then I hit my stomach with my hand, like I punched my stomach. And I was like, hey, this girl is going to kill me. Like, the idea she's giving me is not working. And so I had 2 weeks to think about it, and then I decided I'm going to keep the pregnancy. But this was after thinking, I cannot tell my mom. So I decided, okay, I'm going to keep the pregnancy, but I'm going to run away from home. But when the time came, I couldn't run away, because I asked God, God, today I'm running away. Please give me an answer before I get to the stage of where I'm going. So as I walk, I get to the stage, and I get mkokoteni, and at the back it's written, face your fear. Yeah, and what was my fear? It was my mom. And so I had to face my mom. So I thought about how to tell her. I even went to a public hospital nearby. I went for counseling. And they told me how I can do it, disclosure, counseling what. And by the way, it's so funny to look back, because now I'm a counselor. At that time, I knew nothing about counseling. I just thought about it, and I'm like, oh, people usually go for counseling when you have an issue. And so when I went, I had to go home and tell my mom in the evening. And when I got home, I found her drinking her tea, and she was like, hi, where have you been? I told her, I was somewhere doing something, but there's something I really need to tell you. And I need to tell you after you finish your tea, because I was scared of telling her that moment. And I feel like that was the first time she had ever taken that tea that she takes at that time. And I had to tell her. And when I told her, she was so angry at me. She really was speechless. She just chuckled like, and then she asked me, what are you planning to do? So you're getting married? She even asked me who the father was. I even lied to her who he was because I was like, I wasn't ready for all that drama that may come. And yeah, it was a very tough 9 months being with my mom and her being there telling me, yeah, any mistake I made, she was like, you should have thought of that before you got pregnant. When I asked for money for anything, she would be like, the money I have right now is for dealing with your drama. My drama being my pregnancy. And she was very mean to me for that time. But I also thank God I didn't abort, because abortion also comes with its own consequences. And as I said, everything has consequences, girls. So just think about that. And yeah, I dealt with my consequences of being a mom. And now my son is 4 years old. He's going to school. I'm now working as a counselor. And yeah, life is not as bad as it was that time, but life is hard. Being a young mom is one of the toughest things that I wouldn't wish on anyone. Like, I would want you to just grow up, then become a mom, like when you're ready. So what I tell you is, yeah, don't go dating anyone, don't go engaging in anything. And for me, what I feel made me get pregnant or made me engage in promiscuous activity early is because I didn't love myself first. Because if you love yourself, you'll know that you're not ready for sex, because you're not ready for the consequences of sex. The problem is that girls usually do stuff without thinking about themselves. They think, my guy needs sex, my guy needs this, my guy needs me to drink, my guy needs me to do this, my mom wants me to do this, society wants me to do this. So what I tell you is, the truth is, think about yourself first. What is good for you? Are you ready for the consequences? And the decisions you make should serve you first. Then they can serve anyone else in your life. Right? So as I now became a mom, I learned even my mom sometimes not there for me. As in, there's no one who can be there for me apart from myself. Like, the only person who can be there for me 100% of the time is myself. So learn to love yourself and just always be there for yourself, because yeah, life is hard. So as a mom, that's what I'd tell you. And I'm talking to you as a mom, as a woman, as a girl. Just love yourself first. Avoid toxic people, avoid toxic relationships. Be there for yourself, make good decisions, be a good girl. Being a good girl is cool. And you can always change. Even now, if you're still a bad girl, you can always change. Yeah? So yeah, be a good girl. So what support did I receive? As a young mom, and if you know any young mom, they need a lot of support. And so the support I received was, one, I used to pray. I used to pray a lot. God helped me through my pregnancy. God helped me through my motherhood journey. And even now he helps me through everything, my work and everything I do. So prayer was one of my greatest ways of getting support from God. Just he was my greatest support system. And then the next one was my friends. Luckily, I had shut off all my friends, but luckily I attended a course. I went for a counseling course because I started my course, like my counseling diploma course, when I was 7 months pregnant. So all the people who were in that class were my friends. They were older than me, but made it even better because they were like my moms. They were my part-time moms. And so that was another support system. And the third one was just looking for ways to support other young moms. I felt like wallowing in my own problems was not helping me, that I needed to find a way to just release these emotions. And so I started by blogging. I started doing WhatsApp groups. I had Facebook groups. And just, I made sure that all the time I was able to find ways to support other people. Not always looking within me and saying, oh, I'm so sad, oh, this is not working. I'd be like, this is not working, but at least my mom is supporting me financially. She's paying my school. she's even being able to, you know, just feed my child. I wasn't lacking anything, and that was enough. You know, emotionally, you can always seek help elsewhere. And so that's what I always did. I would seek emotional help elsewhere and give it to the other young moms who don't even have financial support from their parents. Some who the breakups with their babies' fathers were worse than mine. So for even me, I didn't have the support of like my baby's father, but then I was able to cope with it. Like we were not in a very serious relationship, and so when it broke off, I was already moving on to other things. Like I looked at my mom as my only support system. Of course, I really felt bad when my child didn't have like I was like, when I go out, I have to go out with my son alone. He doesn't have his father there. And sometimes I would feel like I'm getting tired. I wish I had someone to support me. I wish this and that. And sometimes it would affect me a lot. But then I learned to just look and remember that your situation is always going to help you get better. And so even in my own difficulties raising my son, I learned that I'm growing better, I'm becoming stronger, and that God is creating something good for me out there. And so I always say that I still want to get married, but then maybe it won't happen right now, but it will happen sometime soon. And so I always think about it like it's something that's coming, that God is preparing for me. And so that support that I feel like I need, God helps me as well to just think about it as a problem for now, but a solution for later. And also sometimes it's just talking with other moms who don't have husbands yet as well, and it helps just learn how to cope and how to do these things alone in the meantime. And then another thing is that now I created the foundation. It's called Wezadada Foundation, and this is where I support other young moms. And so I've had a few events, several, and I also just link up with other young moms and encourage them, because for me, I've always known that even though I went through young motherhood, I can always be great. I've never lost hope or sight of the fact that this is not the end, that the adversity you go through, there's always an equivalent benefit. And that's what I try to just encourage women, that your story is not meant to put you down and make you sad and angry. It's to make you better. And your story is meant to inspire others. And that's what I do my story for. My story is always there to inspire other women, other moms. Any woman who's going through something, just know it's not the end. There's always a better benefit waiting for you. Whatever you go through, there's always something that's going to come that's better and way better, like bigger and better. And so that's my advice to you, that whatever you're going through shouldn't make you angry, shouldn't make you sad. Of course you can get sad, but don't let it remain. The feeling should not remain as you're always sad. It's just that it's there, it's come, it's an adversity, but something better is on its way. And as a young mom also, I just learned that support is very interesting. You receive it in places where you didn't expect. Like when I started the Wezadada, I would get support from people who, they're not my friends. We don't even know each other. We don't even have a history, but they come and support. They come and show their support in various ways. And so don't always look to the people who you expect to help you. God is going to show you who's there to support you. And every time remember that the things you do have consequences. And so that's why I go helping people, because I know that gives me a therapeutic effect, and it makes me feel better about myself. Yeah, and it makes me feel hopeful. I feel less helpless when I'm helping others. Yeah. So there is more to come. There's a lot more to come. This channel is all about empowering women to become the best versions of themselves. Please subscribe, share, like, just do everything you can to be on this channel always, because we're gonna have empowering content, and you better be here, not anywhere else. And so I'm Ivanna Waweru, and thank you for being here. Mwah.